What's good, my people? This is Infinite Source Talk. This is Ralph speaking to you live from the bedroom. You feel me? The reason I have to, the reason I'm laughing and shit like that is because I want to do this thing more of a thing out of the chest, like almost a venting session. And I need to do this because I feel like this is necessary, not only for the masses and anything like that, but also because there are certain learning lessons that we have to have in life. And sometimes they have to be freestyled. Sometimes it can't be structured. It can't be anything that you have to outline, which I'm going to try to do. But in these scenarios, they come out the blue. And so we about to go into one thing that I'm going to call story time. And usually I always call it story time because a lot of times when I have these conversations with whether it's my people, whether it's somebody else, sometimes we need to have story time. And this was it's been since the beginning of time when you were learning, when you were in kindergarten, and you were excited for story time. It's because it's gonna help you. It's probably gonna hit you in your chest. So this segment, I'm gonna probably call it story time because it's gonna be stupid or it's gonna be fucking hilarious to you, however you feel. So the topic today that we're gonna speak on is the dating market. Now this dating market is probably gonna have like 2 million parts and whatever, just like father issues, same thing. It's just that I just needed to talk about it today. The dating market on some real shit is fucking trash. And not only trash in the sense of my experience has been fair in terms of that, and I'll go into that later, because you have story time, which I'm gonna tell now, and then I always talk about my experience and everything before I talk crazy. So today I randomly go on Instagram, not randomly because everybody does it. Every day we open our phones, we're almost slaves to it, which is a whole nother topic or whatever the case is. But I go on Instagram. And, I got people on there, whatever the case is. And I see a certain person put up on a story. Now, in this segment, like, we don't be snitching none of that shit. You do your thing. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? But I use this because I want to show what kind of shit we single people got to deal with. So this one person has been begging, and I mean literally been begging for somebody to talk to them, to somebody to be like, what's up? It's a female. So we'll start there. Female posts different things about wanting love, about wanting trust, about getting somebody in the winter, being pulled up, you know what I mean? Because people cold when they need to be, cuddling all that bullshit, you know what I'm saying? Like all the regular shit. So, but this person does it on a constant basis from what I've seen. So they do this on a regular where they're posting stuff like that. And they always say, yo, I'm alone. I just want somebody to crack my shit or some crazy shit like that. Not seldomly saying that, but like mostly like, yo, I wish I could have somebody to send and forth, right? You pay attention to these things because everybody has IG as a like venting session or like a display of what you're going through. A lot of people don't keep this inside, they'll just put it on stories or reels or whatever the case is. A lot of people do that. So this woman today, and I hope you hear this just so I could tell you about yourself indirectly. Because like I said, I'm not snitching. I'm not doing none of that shit. But like, bro, dog. So this how it goes. Today, I open up my Instagram. And I open up to, how you people, you see the stories. You're trying to distract yourself. So you're just sliding through stories or whatever. I start with the beginning of the story of this lady. This lady started spazzing on somebody about how this bitch is scary, about why this bitch controlling her mans, that she shouldn't be doing that to that person because that person is going to be their potential baby daddy and this and the fourth, and you's a controlling bitch because you over here telling them to not be there for your now going to be son or whatever, or daughter, whatever the fucking case was. Like shit was crazy when I scroll through, because usually You'll see somebody's story and you're like, okay, all right, cool. That's something that they went through with some funny shit. I mean, or some shit that you're laughing about or some whatever, right? But this person always posts about wanting to be with somebody. Then out of nowhere, she starts ragging this lady. This lady comes from wherever the hell she. And like I said, I'm not snitching, so I'm not giving any details. But she's ragging the fuck out this lady, right? Like she's like, "Yo, you're telling my person that I'm gonna have a child with. Like, why is you out here like controlling him, telling him to be that be baby daddy, this, that, and the fourth? You're talking crazy to this one lady, right? And actually, you're posting stuff that you're chasing the lady. So the girl goes and runs down on old girl in wherever her work spot is at, and wherever she's trying to be at. This girl's trying to pull up on her. So again, she's ragging her, calling her a bitch, calling controlling, calling her a deadbeat, calling her all types of bum ass bitches type of shit. And the one dude that she's telling him to not see that person that he's supposedly having a child with. So going back, because this is a little confusing. So hold on. I'm gonna break it down real quick. Lady posts a story. Before the story, she basically has a outline of wanting to be with somebody. Then today pops up with fuck this bitch, this, that, and the fourth, this, that, and the fourth on Instagram. And then from that point, she is talking shit about her because the lady that she's trying to curse out is preventing the dude to be a father or trying to help out with fatherly duties with the person that's pregnant as of right now. And I didn't even know she was pregnant. So imagine, so this is the crazy part where it gets crazy. So she's, like I said, chasing this woman down, trying to find her, posts the job, posts everything, trying to get information, trying to pay people to try to find her so that she could pull up on them. And then posts a potential father. Now I say potential because this shit is crazy. So potential father of their conversation of, I'm so glad that you're gonna have my baby, this, that, and the fourth, I'm gonna be there, and I'm so happy, like, yo, this is the joy of my life because you're gonna have my child, and my child's gonna be my inspiration to do plenty of things in the world. All this type of fucking fuck boy dumb shit that niggas be talking about before they don't even do anything, right? So they post, again, people post conversations, exposés. You know how people have their little threads and shit that they screenshot and makata, like, you know what I'm saying, you get this work. So we seen this whole thread about this boy expressing his feelings, expressing his emotions of it. The next fucking story, and I swear on my mama that I love, that I care for, I swear on, and we really not supposed to even be swearing, but I don't cap. I don't cap no more because I feel like capping is a waste of time. So in these scenarios, yo, bro, this is honest truth, dogs. The next story, I see her post her own fucking sex tape of this nigga. And not even as a sex tape, it's her blowing the fuck out this nigga. Pause on everything, because the way that people do, you know how they do the stickers, the emoji stickers, and they cover most of the shit, but they expose their face. The lady exposed her own face doing what excuse me, let me do the scientific term, fellatio on the motherfucker, right? And obviously you cover the whatever, you know what I mean, with fucking, the emojis or whatever. You cover the act with that shit. But what the yo, she really exposed herself and said, bitch, this is my piece that I was fucking with, and this, that, and the fourth. Yo, he's on me, this, that, and the fourth. Like, what you working with. Like, he's gonna contact me, this, that, and the fourth. And you basically cop blocking of him being a father, this, that, and the fourth. But this is the proof that I was with the nigga. I was this, that, and the fourth. I was out here. You over here hating. Like, what? Yo, I could not believe, I was screaming. And I'm laughing about it now because I'm like, bro, you have got to be kidding me. And a lot of times people will want something and do the whole opposite shit. Literally, this woman, again, to give you a synopsis for the second time, This woman would go and post every day about wanting a man, wanting the affection of a man, wanting to be intimate with a man, wanting to be all that. Comes in for a few, I think, days or weeks or whatever the case is, and out of nowhere, beefing with this lady because the lady is messing with the dude that's now supposed to be her future baby daddy, and exposes herself by trying to claim him by showing that she can perform good. Yo, and I'm laughing because I see this shit and it's for real. Like, I swear I could screenshot all this and show y'all, but I'm not that type of person. So she basically claims some bum ass nigga that kind of left his daddy duties. You know how people got to go to the doctors and with the child, well, excuse me, with the mother and everything, and going through that whole process. The man left her from that because he's over here messing with another female. Like, shit is crazy. What's even crazier is that this woman was, now this whole story, right? Take out the whole story for a second. This woman was trying to get with somebody, trying to put that input out in the world and that energy out into the universe. And you would come up with this bullshit. Like, what? Like, so that means that, so you're putting this energy that you want to be with somebody, you want to explore something, like let somebody holler at you, or you're going to give them the energy and the time and everything like that. And then you do the bullshit. So you wasn't going to tell a potential motherfucker that seen the previous shit. Like I told you, bear with me. Take away the story that I just spoke to today. Let's go to the beginning parts. Beginning parts was she wanted that energy with somebody, to be in a relationship with somebody. So you're already messing with somebody in that scenario, but you're giving this energy in IG, which a lot of people do. They're very fake in terms, lack of a better term, fake, with a lot of things that they have this cover up. Like when IG is like, you have to have your best face in IG. A lot of people don't show their losses. A lot of people don't show what they're going through, none of that stuff. And the people that do, they do it more of a learning experience for somebody, or teaching somebody that, or doing a podcast, or even fucking monetizing from that. So a lot of times it's for a facade, it's for a cover up or something. So this lady brings up, just to go back, brings up a wanting to have a relationship, but you messing with this bum ass nigga. So if somebody holler at you again, somebody holler at that lady while going through that experience, they have to deal with the other shit. And thank God I don't think nobody hollered at her, because it went from wanting the energy of being loved to, I'm gonna kill this bitch because she's disrespecting me, because she's with the person that I'm supposed to be father, mother with, like playing house with, or whatever the case is. But we not in a relationship, we're just sharing a child. So what is it? Do you want somebody to be with you because you're single? Do you want somebody to give you a relationship and care for everything like that? But on the low, you over there trying to pull up on somebody that is messing with the person that you're messing with, and now you have a potential child with that person, and now you have baby daddy issues without you even having the child on this earth. So which one is it? And this is where I begin the topic of the dating market. And the reason I'm beginning it now, because I wanted to tell you this story initially, and just to show you that people want that, but either are not fully healed, they're not fully prepared for it, or they want their options just like anybody would. And it's normal for that. But this is the situation. And this is why I told the story first. That's one person. So imagine a single man out here trying to pursue things and seeing that type of thing. It's like, bro, like what kind of stupid, like, yo, this is what we go through. And I can only speak as a man because this is exactly what we see. And this is the kind of market that we got to deal with. We have to siphon through, the word siphon, filter and siphon through a whole lot of bullshit. And to be fair, women have to do that too, because we have our tendency of being childish. Or in the case of the story that I told, the dude probably was promising her the world and did what he had to do. And then afterwards was like, why, she's pregnant. I could do whatever the fuck I want. Like, I don't give a fuck about that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell her the sweet nothings of I'm gonna be there, I'm gonna be there, I'm gonna be there. Then show the fuck tendencies when he was fucking with somebody else and not be there for that person while she's pregnant with his child. That's how it is. That's how people operate at times. I'm not saying everybody, but people operate at times. But they on some fuck shit, like I said, where they're not fully healed, where they on some fuck shit, or they're doing some bullshit. They're not very apparent or not very clear in what they want to do. And this exactly happened, where you get two people that are not clear on what they want. They're just like, okay, all right, cool. We're going to figure it out by ourselves. All right, cool. You won't give me what I want at the time, temporarily, usually it's pleasure, whatever the case is, right? The other person, which is the dude, got what he wanted, didn't think about the consequences, and then voila. Now you got to deal with somebody that's not potentially going to be there because of another female. And then you got to deal with those consequences. And that's one person, that's one story that wanted a relationship and then just switched it up on people when they was like, oh, I'm fighting for this motherfucker that's not trying to be there for me, not even for my child. Like, yo, bro, and that is where we go wrong, where we are not clear in our intention, where we're not setting our boundaries or having our standards of what we want and how we will be to get to that point. We have to be certain in these things. If you're not with it, then you gotta dip. You know what I'm saying? You gotta keep it moving. That's how people should be. But in this scenario, that's not how people operate. And this is a prime example of the dating market, where they put their intention out there. They put their little fishing hook and a little reel to try to pull something, but it's not the real thing. And this is the issue, that we don't put our standards out there. We rather put up a whole facade, a whole cover up to see what we can get and take advantage of that shit. And in this situation, the dude got advantage from two females. It was like, yo, she giving me ass, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. If I ain't, protecting myself or whatever the case is, then he's probably doing the same thing with the other shorty. And now look, this whole situation right now, I'm even trying to look at it now in IG. She actually put pictures of the lady in her profile. Like, bro, who does that type of shit? But this is what we got to deal with as single men. This is what happens. This is what we have to filter through. So a lot of times when we filter through all this garbage, and this is literally garbage because this is not attractive. This is in no way sexy. There's no way none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? This is ghetto. Let's call it for what it is. Ghetto. So, again, ghetto. So, we're filtered through all this bullshit. Yo, we tired. We don't, it gets to a point where it's like, bro, we just be like, yo, fuck it. We're going to take down one of these little shorties, whatever the case is, get somebody on the roster, get a little starting five, be out here on the all-star team, get this work, you know what I'm saying? Somebody gonna be the point guard, somebody will be the shooting guard, somebody gonna have to be the star on this team. We're gonna get to that point because all it is this bullshit. And again, and I'm saying this initial story, the story of ghetto-ness, this is only one female. So imagine all the other bullshit that we gotta filter. And I'm talking only, like I said, only behalf of me, because as a man, I can only speak as a man. And I know females have their own perspective and their own viewing of bum ass niggas, which I feel them on that. So I will have the females talk about their side too. I'm a man, so I can speak on a man perspective. I could get other men to speak on that perspective as well. But to be fair, I know the ladies have their own issues and their own problems dealing with bum ass niggas. It is what it is. It's both sides. So that's why I say dating market, because it's not only one side. It's the market in general that's crazy. So there's a couple things that I'm going to go over real quick with that. The one thing that I've noticed is expectations. Expectations from both sides are very high compared to back then, compared to like previous cycles or previous experiences and everything like that, the expectations are very high. So, for example, the lady with the Cheesecake Factory thing, like that was wild. Now everybody done seen that, done destroyed that lady, done dissected the whole scenario and everything like that. Where people even came up with a whole list of where you should take somebody at a first date, and we try to critique it. It is crazy to that point. And I'll use that as an example. If you have been under the rock and haven't seen it, there's a lady that took our phone while getting taken out somewhere and recorded on TikTok where they parked at the Cheesecake Factory. And she was like, nah, this man is crazy. Like, he's not taking me to the Cheesecake Factory. So he becomes a gentleman. He goes, he opens, he drove her today. Then he gets out and tries to open the door for her. She locks the door on him. And then she rolls down to the window. She's like, what are we doing here? And the dude was surprised that she got a phone now. And he's like, bro, like, you want to record this? We could talk about this. It's like, yeah, I would like to talk about this. And she had this face. So he went back into the car, and then she was decided to be an asshole about it. I was like, you don't take me to the Cheesecake Factory, along those lines, or whatever the case is. And the dude was like, well, that was my second option. My first option I had, but you was late an hour from my original reservation that I had from a previous place, and it was way nicer than this. But since you took an hour, bro, you get this. And then she had this entitled look on her. She said a couple things, and he was like, you know what? I'm not going to continue this. I'm going to take you home. And then that's that. Then they had a whole debacle about it on TikTok, on Instagram. Everything was a whole viral thing about it. And then somebody independently had an interview with them explaining the situation. So in this scenario, it's the norm where people have higher expectations than normal because they think that they need to be treated like royalty. So instead of the first date being about knowing somebody, about getting to know them on a personal level, getting to see what their mind, body, and soul is about, it's more of, oh, how can I wow you? How can I put you in a place where you feel like you're in a pedestal without knowing those details about somebody? So a lot of times we falter when we try to go super hard on the first date. Then after that, it slows down from there. What I was telling my people the other day was, you could try to get a quality level first date, but not to a point where you're giving up all your arsenals and all your tricks up your sleeve to get to that second date, when the quality date is more towards getting to know somebody personally, to have fun, to experience different things. And then that itself alone can guarantee a second date. Instead of just taking them straight to like Towers or wherever you could think of that's expensive as shit, you can do like a mini golf course or like Top Golf. I've seen people do like regular shit and have more fun than being in somewhere that's super fancy to the point where you're uptight and you want to impress and you have this pressure on you to a point where you fuck things up. So I've seen a lot on social media and everything that expectations are too high. Like, you see interviews with like random females talking about how much a person needs to make in order to be with somebody. And they be saying up to words to like 150,000, 300,000. And I remember watching Kevin Samuels stating that most of those people that make 150 or more are like 10% or less of the population of men. So in that scenario, 10% of men all over the United States, and obviously you don't live all over the United States, you live in a city. In a city, you diminish down to like 1%. Then on top of that, the 1%, you only like a certain amount of people, or you have a height preference, or you have this and the fourth. You diminish yourself to a point where it's like, yo, you're not available to nobody. And that's the issue with a lot of people. A lot of people have higher expectations than reality can give them. So for women, they have many different filters: height, how much people make, how much can you provide to somebody. Are you a 50-50 or 100-0 type of person where you're providing everything and the person becomes a housewife? There's so many factors that go into that that when they look at you, when you go right into their face afterwards, they don't even look at you. They turn you away because you don't fit none of the criteria. And the criteria that I mentioned earlier, that's not even with looks. So imagine you have to deal with the whole list of bullshit. It's not even bullshit. It's whatever criteria that they have. Call it bullshit because it's like, damn, my nigga, if you think about it, you're going to be single for the rest of your life. If you go through that whole list and you can't get nobody. So in that scenario, you're talking about looks. Then you're talking about how much they make, how much they height, whatever the case is, any criteria that you have down the list, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. By the time you get to D or E, it's a wrap for you. You're not gonna have nobody, so you're still gonna be there in a lonely place where you're gonna be like, you know what, I'm worth it, and da 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 da. You gonna be single, my nigga. Like, yo, that's how it is. And a lot of females do that. They have that expectation. Now, there's nothing wrong with having standards and having standards that can be applicable to your life and how it can help you. That's cool. But when you get expectations to the point where you're trying to have almost a Build-A-Bear ass motherfucker to the point where it's exactly what you wanted throughout all this time, it's going to take time. And especially it accounts to who you are as a person and how you look as a person. So imagine. And this is only from the female side. So imagine the dude side. So on our side, first you gotta defeat the looks part, because if you're not pretty or whatever the case is, you getting dubbed. That's how it is. And if you semi decent, then everything else goes into an effect where, is she a good person? Does she has a great personality? Does she does this and that and the fourth? There are plenty of factors. It's the same thing. So the expectation parts is applicable to both sides. Where we expect a lot in the looks department to the point where it filters down to, okay, she's cute, and then whereas females take all this in consideration. Both are still wrong in the sense of expectations are super high. Again, standards is cool, but when you expect every check mark to be applicable to that one person, you're not going to get the perfect person for you. It's going to be certain things that can be tweaked here or there, or can be worked on here, or this is missing, but can I deal with it? And a lot of times when you have that understanding, then it can work. Then you're not expecting so much. But in this day and age, what happens is we already are under a microscope where we're too accessible to the public. So a lot of times we could be written off just off of IG alone. I could put pictures of myself and they'll look at me and be like, nah, he ain't cute, I'm dipping. Like, nah, this is too ghetto, I'm dipping. He looks like he came from whatever, I'm dipping. He's not my type, I'm dipping. We already have that whole filter out process where we can look at somebody's shit and be like, oh, nah, that ain't cool for me. I'm good. Like, damn, she cute as hell though, but she crazy in this X, Y, and Z. I seen so many people, like, for example, and I'm guilty of this, so I gotta be real about it. So if I see some fine ass IG almost model shorty and whatever the case is, you already have that expectation that that girl only wants bread, because she's already have 100K or 200K or 300K. Most of them that do have that take advantage of the monetization of it and do something to profit from that. You already have that expectation in your head. When you're looking at it, you're like, damn, I either gotta be a simp with bread, or I gotta be a sucker, or I gotta live in her city and buy her all this type of shit. You already have that mindset already of that person because the way she operates with Instagram. And this is Instagram alone. You could put any social media platform and put blank instead of IG, put blank, and you can fit that situation in there. And so there is already a premeditated thought process about that. And so with that, now you go down to like the regular chicks or anybody that's different. Now, since they're expecting a certain amount of attention and this and the fourth, people look at that and be like, I want that too. So they behave in a way where it replicates expectations to be higher than normal, because if that person does it and she looks shallow as shit, then I want it too. And a lot of times when you go through that, you filter, like I said, I can only speak on men. When you filter down to that point, you're like, why? Why you gotta be like that? You don't have to be like those people. You could be yourself. But a lot of times things are amplified now, especially with IG. IG is almost like Tinder. Tinder, you're not. You're just swiping. You're like, damn, she look good. All right, cool. Right. She look bad. Left, 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 left. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's to that point where we look at it in vain and be like, all right, cool. This ain't really for me. They're not attractive. Boom. You don't even consider the other side. And this is the society we live in now. The expectation alone is just looks based now. We don't even get past the talking phase. So a lot of people, when you get into the dating phase of it, and this is, I like this transition. When you get into the dating phase of it, people don't know how to communicate to each other to that point, because they haven't even gone that far, because they have a whole big ass filter that can take out 99% of the candidates. And then when the people filter through, they don't know how to communicate after that. It's all one word shit. It's all, hey, how you doing? Good. How's everything? Fine. How was your day? Cool. Like, it's not built in soulful, deep conversations to get to know somebody, because they already went through that hard ass process of going through layers that they're tired as fuck to that point. And then when they get to that point, it's just like, man, fuck I do all that for? And this is what happens in the dating market. It should be tiring. So a lot of times when you go through these situations, you're like, fuck it. I don't even want to go through it, because it's like, fuck it. Like, though, this is a waste of time. I done went through filters and different things to survive, and she thinks I'm cool. And now that I try to have a conversational piece, I can't have it. I'm having a one-sided conversation. And it's very tiring. Like I said before, it's something that is just, it becomes a cycle when you're like, all right, bro, like, yo, it'll come when it comes. You know what I'm saying? And this is where I can give you a piece of advice. Be patient. There will be somebody for you that will satisfy your needs in terms of your person, in terms of your soulmate. There will be somebody there. Don't let this ghetto ass market get to you. Be that person that you are. That's all I can tell you on that part. I'm going back to the filter part because it just reminded me. There was this one lady that was preaching about healing, and I'm going to be a great woman, and I deserve this, and I deserve that. Again, my IG. Mind you, I should be deleting these people because this is almost like a toxic thing. But a lot of times I see it as an entertainment value and learning lessons, because, boy, they be doing some bullshit. So this one lady, don't know her personally, but I have her on Instagram. She's preaching about healing and healing and healing and healing. About how great women should be, and it should be all about self-care and healing. And again, healing and healing. This word healing is very dangerous. As my first podcast, I was talking about healing as the third part, as we need to take time and heal our wounds and understand ourselves and look within each other to see, look within ourselves to see what is going on, how we can operate better, how we can be a better person. The reason I'm saying it's dangerous is because people use that as an excuse to filter out other people. And this person that I see on IG did that same exact shit. Yo, everything is about healing every single day. Healing, 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 healing. Yo, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be great. I'm going to be this. Out of nowhere, when I say, again, relationship. And I'm like, but what's all this preaching about healing and taking time, and then you get somebody out the blue? Like, so be real with yourself. Again, this IG shit is a facade. It's people that just throw out shit just to throw out shit. You have to be careful. You have to have discernment with people in general of what they say. Filtering the shit that they say and what's good for you and what's not good for you. Because a lot of people just say shit just to say shit and do the opposite. And exactly what this person did. And I actually deleted her because I was like, bro, I'm tired of just seeing this shit in general. Like, I'm all about healing. There's nothing wrong with that. But when people use that as an excuse to use that as a defense mechanism or something to avoid certain things, bro, like, that's stupid. Just don't entertain it. Just be like, like I'm not with it. Be honest with people. Say that it's not for me. That's it. This is why a lot of people falter in shooting their shot too, because a lot of people don't communicate that shit. I could shoot my shot, be like, "What's up, baby? How you doing? What's good? I seen you look good as hell. I'm trying to take you out. This and the fourth. No communication after that. Okay, cool. Usually a sensible man like me, for example, and I toot my horn too, because sometimes I'm sensible, sometimes I wild out. You know what I'm saying? But I like to give myself the good credit. But sensible man will be like, okay, she didn't respond. Cool, I keep it moving. I'm not gonna harass her. She don't like it, she don't like it. But we would like the fucking consideration of being like, I'm not interested. Thank you. I appreciate the compliments, all that, this and the fourth. If you upfront with it, we respect you a lot more. You wouldn't get no type of lashback or anything like that because you're being honest. Honesty, you gotta respect honesty. That is how it is. Now, some people don't take it well, which is some people. They some bitch ass niggas. That's how it is, whatever. But honesty should pay off well when you are upfront with it and you're like, okay, I appreciate that, but I'm not interested. You don't have to explain the reason why, but you just say that you're not interested. And we respect you a lot more for that. We actually give you flowers for that because you're being honest about it. We're not wasting our time. But 99% of people don't do that. And that's the issue with the dating market as well, that there's no communication. There's communication issues on both sides. Whether we don't know how to talk to females, whether females don't know how to talk to us. I can only speak on my behalf. From my behalf, what I've seen, people don't know how to communicate well. It's crazy because it's supposed to be the other way around. I was supposed to be scared as hell. I'm supposed to be like, trembling. But I wanted to get to know you. So I have questions. I have inquiries where I want to see where your mind is at. But if you're not interested, you're not giving me that same energy. Fuck out of here. I'm not giving you that energy. If you're giving me low energy, I'm going to match your shit. And for me, if I'm about to match low energy, I don't even want to fuck with you. Because if you're giving me low energy, that means that you're not interested. That you just want to fucking talk to just talk. And that to me is a waste of time. So if you want to get to know me, get to know me. Talk to me. Just like I want to get to know you. Get into your mentals to understand you better, to see if my attraction could build off of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, but people don't do that. People just can't communicate. And this is in general. This is relationship. This is dating. This is all types of shit. Communication is a big problem. And somebody that can master communication can master life in itself. And that's a whole different topic about communication. That's a whole different section. So I'll speak on that on another pod. But like, I just thought about this. Let's say you survive the communication part. And this is where my experience is going to come into play after talking about this. You guys are communicating well. Everything is cool. Then you get to a point where you start understanding that human beings can't always agree with each other. So you get into arguments because y'all don't agree with each other. This is where it gets tricky in the dating market too. Some people have strong belief to the point where they're right, where their belief is the only way. So this is where the filter process also affects everything. Where their belief system, where they look at it one-sided, where they look towards politics. This is a whole filter part. Whether we could talk about politics, religion, race, everything has a category. And whether the people use that as a filter to where you can't even access them, they're cutting off their own access too. So they're limited to that market. Then have the nerve to complain, why am I single? Why am I always alone? This, that, and the fourth. Because, bitch, you don't make yourself available. That's how it is. Because you look at it so narrowly that you want somebody that's exactly how it is. And there's nobody of that caliber because Again, going back to the original point from earlier, your expectations are too high. That is how it is. So I've seen a lot of people bash on other religions or other viewpoints, other races. I've seen people bash people in dating sites, Hinge, Tinder, you name it. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Then these same people have the nerve to complain, oh, I'm here. I don't know why there's somebody that could talk to me, because you're viewing it narrowly. Your stupid ass is viewing it narrowly instead of opening your horizons, opening up your options, being more open-minded. People are so enclosed into that, where people will look at it, I just want to date this one race. Cool. You have your preferences and everything like that. Again, like I stated earlier, preferences is fine. Issue with that is you narrow yourself down to a point where when you have these filters and on top of that have a narrow vision of what you want, that limits yourself from the pool. So you're not going to end up with somebody or be accessible to somebody at a present time. You will have to wait. This is why I said the initial advice: be patient. Somebody will be your media naranja, that he's calling in Spanish, your soulmate, your lover, your other person. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but that's what people complain about, because they are so focused in what they want in general that they deflect most likely somebody that's good for them or great for them. It could be their husband, and they still deflect it because they're so stuck in their ways. The reason I mention this is because I seen on Hinge, again, I'm gonna use my experience, so we're going to delve into this, where somebody's profile, you know how you can record messages and all that stuff so somebody can hear you, so that when you press the button you hear whatever stupid ass question they have or whatever, whether why do you like milk on your cookies and shit like that. But like, you can record and leave your message. And this one lady, and she was kind of cute, but the question was, what do you feel so strongly about? And she basically responded that I need to have a joint every single day, multiple times a day, and if you don't like it, jump in traffic. That's literally what the person said. She said, again, let me repeat it to you. She said that if you don't agree with smoking marijuana every single day and multiple times a day, jump in traffic. That does not... Granted, I don't care what you do. Like, to be honest, like, I don't care. But when you tell somebody that you disagree with them, that to jump in traffic, that makes it seem like if anything that I disagree with you, that I need to go and jump into the local 287 over here and choose which lane I need to hop my ass into because you don't like the answer, or you can't accept that I disagree with that. That's dumb. Like, and yo, she got scared because I'm like, bro, why would you put that stupid ass shit? You could put that, yo, okay, I smoke multiple times a day. Cool, that's no problem. But the fact that if somebody disagrees with that they gotta jump in traffic, this is what we gotta deal with as men. I'm telling you, this is what I see every day. And a lot of times it doesn't frustrate me because, like I told you, I'm being patient. Somebody will be there for me. Like, I'm putting the work into, I'm working on myself, you know, spiritually, emotionally, physically, everything. I'm working on all aspects to become, when I am called upon that position, to be that person. But again, this is what we got to deal with. We got to deal with people that have these strong beliefs, and if their way is not the way, then fuck yourself. This is what we got to deal with. We got to deal with that fucking entitlement of it's my way or the highway. Like, bro, that's not how it works. And especially when you're trying to get with somebody, that's definitely not how it works. You can have your standards and still comply with somebody. You can work on a compromise of, okay, I know you can't agree with this, but what can we come to a middle with? What can we agree to disagree on, and what can we do to coexist better? Instead of having that mindset, that means that you don't give a fuck about what nobody thinks, that you're going to do what you do. Cool, that's no problem. That's no issue on that. But be alone then. Don't be requiring your shit already off rib of having people jump off the victory bridge because they don't agree with you. Like, that's fucking stupid. But again, this is exactly what we gotta deal with. This is what we have to filter out every single day. So when I tell my people to enjoy their relationships, to cherish them, to be better people within the relationships, I mean it. Because it's nasty out here. It's nasty work, dogs. It is disgusting. And this is the shit that we gotta deal with. Yo, every adjective that I could think about discussing, I'm thinking about now. But I've talked about examples. Some examples that were in there were from my experience of what I've seen. We had story time. We had different things that we talked about. Now I'm gonna talk about my experience on that. A man been single for 2 years, and in the experiences that I had, they have been very interesting in terms of the dating market, because a lot of females have different mindsets, obviously different emotions, everything like that. So I'm gonna use two people in this an example. So in one case, there was a female that I talked to for a little bit, and she was very good in terms of healing. She wanted to seek that healing and understand herself better, because she has been through the wire, literally. And I can't speak on that because it's not my place to speak on it. But she has been through the wire for like 10 plus years with somebody. And literally through the wire, where there's certain things that I can't even talk about. But she's seeking this healing and everything like that. And she's starting to like my energy and everything. And then hits me with, I want to see you. This comes from a dating app and whatever the case is. So we spoke on there, talked about it, chopped it up. Everything was cool. And I learned that she's been going through this big healing process where she's starting to discover the universe, certain healing things and Reiki and all that type of, stuff that people do when they have to go through their healing process. Then again, she wanted to see me. So I originally was like, okay, let's go to a park to converse or whatever the case is. Everything was cool and dandy. And we was chilling. Everything was cool. Like, we was getting to know each other. We was on a personal level and everything like that. And then she hit me with the, what's up, baby? How you doing? And from there, it was just hilarious, because I didn't expect those things to happen at a park or whatever. But then afterwards, and you know what I'm talking about. So don't even look at yourself crazy. None of that. You know exactly what I'm talking about. But then afterwards, we were conversing. Everything was cool. Everything was fine. The next day after that transpired, she hit me with, I want you to meet my parents and my family, because I want to make sure that you're the right person that can guide me through this process. And I was like, when you get hit with the phlegm, you're like, okay, all right, cool. This just started. So why would you ask me that question of meeting your family when we just met? Obviously, things happen or whatever the case is. But previously, before that meeting at the park, the lady stated that she didn't want a relationship, that she wanted to vibe with somebody that she was cool with, and that she wanted for that person to guide her through the experience that she's going through with the healing process that she's dealing with, and she wants somebody to support her and everything like that. And I was willing to be that person, because I was like, okay, you don't want a relationship, cool, we could be cool, we could be friends and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I didn't want to pursue a relationship because at that time I was chilling. So I wasn't really like pursuing a relationship, but I was chilling. So I was out there like, all right, cool. We could talk about whatever. We could do whatever. It doesn't matter. But when you bring yourself to a situation where you know that you don't want a relationship, why would you bring your whole family to the equation? When you know I'm just there to beat your shit in and help you through your process. Like, this is why I don't understand about people. Again, communication. This whole thing about I want something and it's something else. She wanted somebody to be a support system, but not to a point where it's a support system in terms of being a relationship. A support system to where she can actually survive the actual world and actually experience things like fornicating in the park type of thing. When I tell you there is traumatic experiences that females go through, there's certain things that they want to try out to see if they have that normalcy of feelings or emotions or sexual necessities that they want to experience. So she wanted that support system. She just didn't want a relationship. But if you didn't want that in a relationship, you don't enter your family into this. So that kind of spooked me the fuck off because I was like, bro, how is it that you want me to meet who? Like, bro, we're not even supposed to be in that stage. You want me to nah, it's not happening. Like, so for me, I was like, bro, I could still be cool with you. There's no issue, but you kind of put in relationship things into a friends with benefits thing or a support system type of thing to help you go through these things. Like, bro, that doesn't make any sense. Speak up, speak your mind. She eventually pressed the issue that she wanted me to go meet her parents and her peoples and all that stuff. And I was like, bro, this is not how we do things. Like, I know that you come from a difficult situation, but I'm trying to teach you that that's not how things grow. If you want me to be in a relationship with you, that's different. But this is not conducive of this situation or even required. It's not a prerequisite of me fucking with you. That's not how it works. So I was trying to teach her that. And eventually she was just like, I want you in that way, but you're not complying with me. So I got to dip on you because I want you in this certain way where you be my whole support system, whether you get me out of my traumas and my feelings and everything like that so that I could heal off of you. And I wasn't about that. And that wasn't even my purpose of dating. Like, you know what I'm saying? That my purpose of dating wasn't saving your ass. My purpose was to get to know somebody and see if there could be potential in there. When you rerouted me to be a FWB with being a support system and also being your positive outcome, then that's what it is. So I tried to explain that, and it was almost like if I was being offensive. So eventually, like, we kind of distanced each other and was like, okay, this is not gonna work because obviously you need to heal with yourself. Because the stuff that you went through, like I said, I won't speak on it, but the stuff that you went through, you need to heal that on your own. You don't need some dude that's trying to guide you. Mind you, I could be a friend. I could still guide you. I could still support with you. I could still fuck with you. It's just that you need to do that on your own. Then when you ready for that, then you could be out here dating and courting somebody and trying to get to know somebody because you need the time for yourself first. You need the time to heal up. And I told her that. So eventually we just broke off and whatever the case is because at first her intentions were to grab somebody for them to feel like they wanted. Then they wanted the intention of us being a support system to each other. Then it was a support system from me to her. That affects me with giving all my energy. Where's me in that? So I was like, fuck that. And I kept it moving. And this is the issue with dating. We don't know somebody's true intention until we can actually communicate with each other and know each other personally to a point where we can know each other's thoughts and feelings and have butterflies and have the same feelings towards each other to a point where we can finish each other's sentences. But a lot of times there's no communication. So we don't know somebody's intentions until we're too deep in or we somewhat deep in. And that point I was a day deep in. So it was a feeling where it's like I need to backtrack. And I did because I was like, this is gonna be too much energy that's gonna be coming out of my part. Where is it gonna be energy for me? And I thought about me and I was like, oh fuck that. So dipped on that situation. That was one situation. There was plenty, but I'm gonna go over another one. This nice young lady, she was cool as hell. She's still cool. Like I still fucks with her and everything like that. And again, they didn't have everything the same avenue. We talked every day. Communication was actually pretty good. Like I was surprised. I was like, damn, that somebody finally can communicate. Somebody finally can be there and everything like that. And everything was valid for 3 weeks. We was talking for 3 weeks. Um, Communication nonstop. We talked for hours and hours and hours, giggling and laughing. You know that's how shit supposed to be, right? And then it comes around my birthday time where I'm kind of busy. All my people love me and care for me, so they plan stuff for me and everything. So I'm not available as much as I was in the previous 3 weeks. And then the arguments start happening to a point where it was almost relationship type of arguments. And I was like, whoa, 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 hold on. Now, I know we've been talking for 3 weeks and whatever the case is, and we're building up to a point where we're going to have our first date, have everything set up and everything. But you're kind of taking this too fast, my nigga. Like, yo, you got to relax. Like, everything takes its time. So we're getting to that point. We're going to see what happens. But she was pressed on the issue. She wanted me to be her bae. She was calling me bae. She was saying I love you and all this type of stuff. And you're like, bro, like this is not how it works, bro. We have to look at it in a logical sense. We have to look at it in a timely sense too. Can't rush these things. But she was on the issue. So she started to say that I was treating her like a homie. Which at that point it made sense because when you're trying to get to know somebody, you got to start off as a homie, somebody that's cool, that you're cool with, that you know what I'm saying. But she was like, you treat me like one of your homies. They ain't cool. I want you to be more compassionate with me. I want you to have more feeling for me. I want you to tell me how pretty I am, how this and the fourth. And it went to a point where it was like, bro, you kidding me? And I'm not saying that I'm right in these situations. What I'm saying is that there are certain things where people can ask for what they want, but in the right situation. Like if you're in a relationship, I could understand that. I could get that part. But we are in the early part of the stage, but that we haven't been on our date yet. And I'm like, bro, you gotta relax. You gotta chill. Like, so we got into this week of arguments or whatever the case is, to the point where it was like, bro, if I'm arguing with you, we not in a relationship. Imagine me accepting this and we become in a relationship. Everything's going to be argument. So eventually we mended stuff. It was a week of arguments stemming off of that. Then eventually we actually went on a date where we walked on a trail. We went to a restaurant. Everything was cool. Everything was valid. We had an amazing time. Obviously things transpired again. These are the situations. What happens when you vibe with a lot of people. You kind of get into those intimate moments that happens. And then after that day, it's back to the arguments. I was just with you yesterday. I don't know why you can't hold my hand. Why you can't tell me you love me. Why you can't tell me I'm pretty. Why you can't tell me I'm babe. Sweet things. Sweet nothing to me. I'm like, bro, what if we just got to a point after the first date and then you're tripping like that? Nah. And I eventually dipped because I was like, bro, there's no way I'm surviving this. There's no way I'm going to give up my peace and my tranquility to argue with your ass. That's not happening. And I'm going to choose my peace and tranquility. And my cousin, I tell him these things, just so learning purposes and everything. And he's telling me, yo, it's nasty work out here. Like, why won't you try it again? Maybe she actually had the good intent to be with you. It's just that when you pressure somebody so much into being in a relationship before getting to know somebody, bro, that's a little red flag, dogs. And especially in that situation where you're 3 weeks in, then you start arguing first week before we actually go to an actual date, then the date, and then afterwards you argue the next day, bro. Like, nah, that's not happening. Like, I gave up on that. I was like, oh, fuck that. Because this is not the right choice. And in that situation, the problem was that the person pressured shit so much of being in a relationship that she forgot there's a whole process that goes into it, and skipped that whole part and was like, that's my bae, that's boo, that's my husband, like, you feel me, like, without going through all that. And in this case, I'm not just gonna have my peace violated. That's not how it's working. And we're skipping steps. Nah, I'm valid on that. This is where communication is key. Again, these situations happen because people don't know how to communicate and to go through that process. When they go through that filtering process, that's when you discover everything in their intention. And that's usually backwards, because we're supposed to know your intent and your direction from the beginning, from getting to know you, courting you, taking you on dates, understanding how you are, knowing your feelings, what triggers you, how you are as a person in general. But the issues in the dating market is basically people skip steps, people try to force steps on you, people try to give you certain expectations that you can't meet and shit, that you can't even reach to them or have access to them. There's so many issues with the dating market. But this is what I would suggest you do, and I will end this in conclusion. From my experiences, I learned a couple of things. One, take your time. Understand each other, love each other, care for each other. And in the beginning stages, you're not going to love each other unless you fall in love at the first sight, which does happen, which is a whole nother topic. But understand one thing, that this is a process. This is a process that you have to go through with each and every person that you encounter, to see if they are a right person for you, to see what kind of route that you got to take with them. This is communication in general. Communication is going to be another episode, because that covers a lot in terms of relationships, in terms of friendships. Communication is a big ass thing, and we need to have communication in order to succeed in this market. There's a couple of steps I think you should follow. One, you got to understand that there's a process. Two, you have to communicate well and be honest with one another. Whether it's that you're fucking on something, whether it's you want to find a relationship, whether you want to play around, whether you want to play fucking hopscotch with somebody, you have to be honest. You have to be upfront. And I feel like that's the best communication that you can have, because therefore there's no filters and no hidden things or anything like that. And you can basically unveil everything with just being honest. And with that honesty, that defeats every filter basically that somebody has, whether they're looking for somebody, oh, okay, well, I think that is shallow, but I could keep it moving. Or if you work with me, I can tell you why that should not be an issue. The third part that I really didn't get into, because I feel like this is a different topic and I feel like this should be the next episode. Probably I'm going to do environmental trauma, I think, first, and then I go back into this, is keep the same motherfucking energy. And I say this with a passion. The reason I say this is, once you gauge your energy, once you give your energy out to there, want that same energy back. Want it to be reciprocated, want it to be matched, want it to be embraced as well. Because the minute you give out your energy and it's not appreciated, you're going to feel down. So please find something that'll match your energy. Don't be out here giving simp shit. Don't be out here giving too much shit where you're basically giving all the energy and they're taking your fucking time and effort and peace that you're trying to give to somebody, and they're being an opportunist. Don't do that. Keep that same energy. Have them people keep that same energy with you. Those are my suggestions from the experiences that I've seen. And this is those two stories that I gave you from my experience. Those are light. I have other ones. This is why this is part one. Part two will be coming soon. There is going to be, like I said, a episode on environmental trauma that's going to come in soon. I'm working on that too. There's a couple of things I'm trying to work on, so bear with me. But I needed to do this because this whole thing was inspired by somebody that did some fuck ass shit, and it actually was dealing with this fucking topic of the dating market. The dating market is on some bullshit. Hopefully if anybody that's stuck in the same situation, hopefully you'll find your diamond in the rough. Hopefully you'll find something that's actually pretty good out there for you. But these are the things that we talk about because this is what we go through. And like I said, my suggestions to you is go through the process. Understand that there will always be failures. You will always run through the bad fishes, the bad apples, whatever the case is. Then you'll get the one. Sometimes people are super lucky. They'll get the one right there and game over. Done. Marriage, happy life. Most of the time it doesn't work that way. So know that there's going to be failures. Know that there's going to be lessons. It's going to be learned. But all it takes is that one time to win. So like I tell my cousin, love the process. Understand the process. Hug the process. Be the process. Embrace the process. Because that's how you learn how to be a better person. And be honest. There's nothing wrong with being honest. Doesn't matter how fucked up it sounds, just be honest and you'll go farther that way. And for one last time, keep that same fucking energy. Whatever you give out, get back. I'm out of here because I spoke too much on this shit. There's going to be other parts coming soon. I appreciate you listening. We out.